wide receiver.
Best 1-2 punch?
In the entire league is who?
Okay, I'm going with Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver, A.J. Green, and John.
A rookie!
I'm going look, listen, if you're going to go big, A.J. Green is one of those guys, when he's healthy, he can do everything under the sun. We're talking go routes, slat routes. He can do the over-the-top, underneath. He can catch a slant route. He can do the screen routes. And then you add John Ross to the fold, who some look at him and say, oh, you ran that 4.22, you're just a speedster.
I love that run.
My man had 19 touchdowns. 19 in college. And you may say college doesn't translate. I don't care if you're scoring 19 touchdowns against DeVry University. That's 19 TDs.
Pac-12.
Listen, John Ross, with that type of speed, going over the top, taking that safety completely out of the way, and A.J. Green running all those routes underneath, and then him getting injured last year, I know what that does to a wide receiver, especially an elite one, who's going to want to come back and try to prove to be one of the best in the game. Because we're constantly talking about Julio. We don't mention A.J. Green often, but A.J. Green puts up numbers that are comparable to the two top guys that we always say fight for the number one spot. So I got A.J. Green and John Ross next year, the best duo in all of football.
Now you remember.
We're worried about the juju on the offensive line there with Andy Dalton.
Hey, you got to get rid of the ball quick, which means the wide receivers are going to make plays. And then on top of that, you got Tyler Eifert, other complimentary receivers, which means those guys are not going to be the focus of most defenses.
Randy Moss was a rookie in '98, and right away stepped right in. It's been done before. I like that. Kay, who do you got?
I'm going to go with the Raiders. Duh. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree because they had 172 combined catches last week, tied only with Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams. I love them because I like their quarterback. I trust their offensive line. And they both had 1,000-yard seasons last year. And when I want yards, I'm not talking numbers and stats. We can throw this thing away. I'm talking toe drag swag appearances.
Okay, all right.
That's a great toe drag swag. These two were on toe drag swag, if not both of them, one of them every week, and that's what I want. I want to see these highlights, and I want to see toe drag swag.
This is true. We were calling him Michael Dragtree by the end of the year because every week he was there.
Yeah, that's what I love.
I love that. Schrager, who do you got?
I'm going to go with the team that won the NFC last year, and they still have all these other weapons, right? I mean, Taylor Gabriel's still there. You got all those tight ends, the running backs, but I love Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu. I feel like these two guys almost underperformed in what was an incredible offensive season last year. These two dudes are unstoppable, and Sanu is like the ultimate number two, Nate. I know you played with both Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson. This guy's played with both A.J. Green and now Julio Jones, and it's the perfect complementary role. Julio Jones didn't put up the craziest numbers last year, but when they needed him most, he had 300 yards receiving against the Panthers in a regular season game, and then they absolutely torched both the Seahawks and the Packers, and then the Patriots in the playoffs. So Julio's, to me, hands down the #1 receiver in the league. And if you're going #2 wide receivers, it almost sounds like a backhanded compliment. Who's the best #2? It sounds like who's going to win the NIT tournament this year. But that's not the case. Mohamed Sanu is the perfect complement. And I would even throw in that Taylor Gabriel's the best #3 in the league. So that offense, I know Kyle Shanahan's gone. I expect bigger numbers and even more production out of those two guys.
You know what was a mark of a good #2 is if at some point in their career, people considered them to be a #1 and said, this guy needs to go underneath the umbrella and play somewhere else and be a #1. And that has been said about Sanu quite a bit. So it's great that he's a #2 because he looks at himself as like a 1B.
What you got, Brent?
Let's keep it here. Let's keep it with Big Blue. Let's keep it with the team that these guys are going to love, and specifically the tandem. Talking about OBJ and Brandon Marshall. This is going to be something. Good, positive, negative. I know it's going to be something. You know what's not going to happen? Nothing. All right, OBJ, we know the deal. He was in the conversation a lot for last season. Is he the best receiver in the league? I think as a table, we sort of eventually decided on Julio because he left us no choice. But he's right there, and he has my favorite play in football, which is the Odell Beckham Jr. slant pass. It's unstoppable. It's like the star punch and punch out. You only get so many because it's unfair. You only get a couple of them. We know he's going to do his thing. The question is, Mr. Marshall. Guy's been all over the league. He dominates everywhere he goes. And I'm just looking for what he's going to do in New York because I mentioned the newspaper thing. Guys, they got a drafts folder right now with puns and Marshall. We are Marshall, Marshall Law, Marshall Matters. You can forget Sarah Marshall. You can't forget Brandon Marshall. They'll have all kinds of stuff like that all day because, look, we had him in here I think we said to him, look, what happens if Odell starts getting the ball and you don't? Or better yet, what happens when you get the ball, my friend, and Odell doesn't? I think these two find a way to work, because Brandon Marshall, to me, seems extremely self-aware at this point. I feel like he knows what he is, what he's bringing, what he has left to do. Never played a playoff game. It's probably the best team he's ever been on right now. So I think they're going to make it work. Don't sleep on Sterling. Don't sleep on the rookie Ingram tight end. But I think the two of these guys are going to make headlines, make plays. I am so excited for the show.